Following the launch of a large-scale Russian offensive on the eastern Ukrainian city of Avdiivka, intense fighting has broken out there, involving thousands of soldiers and armored vehicles. On Saturday, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported that Russia tried unsuccessfully to break through the defense in Avdiivka. The Ukrainian military successfully repelled Russian attacks in Avdiivka on Saturday, inflicting heavy losses on Russian forces, including dozens of tanks and other armored vehicles, during Moscow's two-day operation to surround the city. The assault on Avdiivka resulted in serious losses for Russian forces, including the loss of about 2 battalions of equipment, including 30 tanks. For the Russians, the price of this aggression came high. Ukrainian authorities reported that Russian losses included 30 tanks, 55 infantry fighting vehicles, and 6 trucks. This number of casualties is equivalent to the loss of 3 infantry battalions and 2 tank battalions, far exceeding their daily losses over the past 4.5 months. 5 days after the Russian offensive began on Tuesday, the fields between Russian and Ukrainian positions north and south of Avdiivka are filled with destroyed Russian equipment. The defending Ukrainian forces are inflicting serious casualties on the Russians and hampering their logistics near Avdiivka, which is likely slowing the pace of the Russian offensive. An important factor in the defense effort has been the constant surveillance by the Ukrainian military. Unit 129, which operates drones on behalf of the territorial forces in Avdiivka, reported that it conducted a continuous 20-hour flight and detected the entire Russian assault group. All members of the group were found, as confirmed by the unit. Even with the large-scale Russian offensive, ISW notes that there have been no significant breakthroughs in Avdiivka, and a quick cut-off of Ukrainian forces in the city is unlikely. According to experts, the city's defense is considered to be one of the best in the entire war zone. Avdiivka is a well-populated area that has been particularly prepared to repel an enemy offensive with much greater resources. Some analysts and officials have compared Avdiivka to Mariupol and believe that, even if surrounded, the city could withstand attacks by Russian forces for several weeks. Avdiivka is located about 56 miles south of Bakhmut and north of Russian-occupied Donetsk. The city is strategically important in the Ukrainian defense system and is the gateway to Donetsk. Ukrainian troops reported repelling more than 40 attacks by the Russian army in Avdiivka and surrounding areas over the past 24 hours, in what could be seen as an attempt by Moscow to demonstrate that the tide of the war is turning in its favor. For the 4th time, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that his troops were leaving their positions in Avdiivka. Zelensky emphasized that the courage and unity of Ukrainians would determine the outcome of this war, while indicating that Moscow was likely seeking to block the movement of Ukrainian forces and prevent them from moving to other parts of the front. However, Ukrainian officials are aware of Russian strategy and may not be overly active in deploying their forces in this direction. Most experts believe that Russia may now lack sufficient military forces to make significant gains in its offensive, including the attacks on Avdiivka. However, the offensive suggests that Russia hopes to further weaken Ukraine's counteroffensive with its counterattack, especially as weather conditions deteriorate. While the fighting around Avdiivka is a flashpoint for now, it is also indicative of a deterioration in the situation in Ukraine as a whole, and this deterioration seems to be more general as winter approaches. Ukraine continues to advance in the southern Zaporizhzhia region, where its counteroffensive is centered. Over the past day, Ukrainian troops conducted 15 strikes against the enemy's troops, weapons, and military equipment. Missile and artillery units attacked a command post, a concentration area for military personnel, weapons, and equipment, as well as an ammunition storage facility and an electronic warfare complex belonging to the Russians. The pressure on the southern parts of Zaporizhia region is likely to continue in the coming weeks. Ukrainian troops are likely to try to continue moving toward Tokmak from the Robotnicho-Verbivske salient in Zaporizhia region. Despite the possibility of a breakthrough toward Tokmak shortly, direct shelling of Russian supply routes and concentration of troops in the Tokmak area is more likely. Against the backdrop of the 16th meeting of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group in Brussels, many NATO member states have recently announced aid packages for Ukraine, pledging their support. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin announced a new $200 million aid package on October 11th, including AIM-9 missiles for air defense systems that will soon be delivered to Ukraine, and he emphasized the U.S. readiness to support Ukraine as long as it is needed. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius also announced a $20 million aid package on October 11th, including 10 Leopard tanks. Western countries are also continuing preparations for the delivery of F-16 Viper fighter jets to the Ukrainian Air Force. At the 16th meeting of the U.S.-led multinational contact group on Ukraine, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said that the United States, Denmark, and the Netherlands are actively cooperating on these initiatives. While the United States and its allies are assisting Ukraine, they are also focusing on creating specialized teams that focus on specific aspects, such as network security and naval warfare. This is the current situation in eastern Ukraine. Unfortunately, it has been changing quite rapidly lately, and not in favor of the Ukrainian army, so we will continue to monitor developments in this area. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. If you found this story intriguing, we invite you to explore even more from our channel. See you next time.